Hi everyone, Sailor Moon here, Sailor Pluto here, Sailor Underworld here, and today we're going to talk about I don't know what her name is. Now, forgive us if we don't know the name of Kurlari or Kai or how you say her name. And keep in mind, we don't know. Yeah. So yes, there would be gatekeeping in the Sailor Moon followership, and I'll tell you that there is, because some folks in the Sailor Moon followership might, might gatekeep us and say, "Oh, well, you don't know nothing about Side World Sailor Moon." Yeah, a sagas of books that were written and drawn by Naoko Takiguchi after the first Sailor Moon books were done, and it was about the sailor fighters and their lives after everything had happened and their children, which is a side world. And why they call it the side world, I don't know. Because I guess it's another world, you know. And like they're twinners or something. Now, I don't know much about that. Because I never read the books. I never saw the books. I never bought the books or read them or whatever. So, yeah, I might not know much about that. And that would bring in the gatekeeping. Some folks in the Sailor Moon followership that would say, "Oh, well, you don't know nothing about Side World Sailor Moon. Well, you're not a true Sailor Moon follower." Now, the other kind of gatekeeping that would happen is that, and this happened early on, but I guess it's still a thing, about liking the Deep Glee Sailor Moon. And everyone who watches this knows that we like it. But there will be those in the Sailor Moon followership who unlike it, unlike it, and hate it. And some of them will say, "Oh, well, you're not a true Sailor Moon follower, you like the Deep Glee Sailor Moon." Because that's the kind of gatekeeping one has to go through with, you know. Or you might get someone who says, "Oh, you don't know nothing about this, do some learning," you know. Now, at the end of the day, I don't care what their thoughts or belief or takes are. That's their own. But the gatekeeping in the Sailor Moon followership is true. I mean, there are some folks in the Sailor Moon followership who do gatekeep you on things. And those are one or two things that they might gatekeep you on. Oh, and yeah, and if you don't follow the oversight that was made by Naoko Takiguchi, that a lot of Sailor Moon followers say that she came up with. The oversight that says only girls or women can be sailor fighters or sailor keepers or whatever. I never really believed in oversight anyway, and I don't follow it. You know? You got anything to say about that? Well, you're right, Sailor Moon. You're right, Serena. At the end of the day, there are some folks in the Sailor Moon followership who like to gatekeep, or say you're not a true Sailor Moon follower if you never read or borrowed or bought, the side Sailor Moon books or side rule Sailor Moon books, or get irked or angered at you if you don't follow Naoko Takiguchi's oversight that only girls and women can be sailor fighters. Or if you craft a sailor fighter that isn't truly from the show, like, Sailor Earth, Ernest P. Worrell, and how someone, made such a big deal about it that they started gatekeeping on it, or making a big deal about what English take of Sailor Moon that you happen to like or watch. For us, that would, over the Deep Glee Sailor Moon. Or is that Wild Brine Sailor Moon now? I don't know. So anyway, yeah, there is some gatekeeping in the Sailor Moon followership. Or folks that get irked or angered if you don't call them by their Dawnish borrow names, but calling them by their Latinist, Frenchish, Spanish, Hiverus, Black Lantis, Farseus, and Hellenish borrowed names. Yeah, there are folks that do that. Folks who, do gatekeep folks in the Sailor Moon followership over those kind of things. And it is a thing, So, yeah. And it is sad. But it is true. All the things that we talked about did happen. And they still happen. Not as much as they once did. But there still are folks in the Sailor Moon followership who gatekeep on that. So anyway, yeah. Alright, that ends the film. Give us a like, share and playlist it, and we'll see you later.